Yo guys, what is up? Welcome back to some more Zero Hour. Welcome back to the World Series 2023. Back here today with another round number 1, and we're kicking things off on Snowy Drought. Up at the top of Snowy Drought, we have the green player. Expert player, USA Vanilla. This is sCuBa. Down in the south position with a China tank in the red. This is LeadeR. And this one is a very, very interesting round number 1, because we have an expert level player, which is sCuBa, although probably a lot of people would consider him one of the weaker expert players. Whether he likes those comments or not, it's just the facts, and we only give facts on this channel. We have double supply and double war factory for LeadeR. So yeah, basically you've got an older style expert player who on his day is very, very good, but I think he's a little bit probably inactive. I never really see him in challenges against like the top players nowadays, or even playing 1v1s nowadays. He's from the UK. He now lives in Australia, so his time zone is a bit out with Europe and the US in terms of arranging challenges and stuff. So yeah, I think that hinders him a lot. I think if he still lived in like a UK time zone, I think you'd see him at a much higher level, and the ping in the games would be better as well, because the distance to Australia, no matter where you are in the world, is usually quite far, and there's always a bit of a delay no matter how fast your internet is. And LeadeR, I think I don't know if sCuBa will underestimate him or not, and I don't really know how to describe how good LeadeR is. I actually don't know his level at the moment. I know he's a solid player. But I honestly think this is quite a 50-50 matchup. That's one of the more exciting ones. Like when xCal played in round number 1, you pretty much know xCal's going to win. Or when Boyka or Marikar play in round number 1, you know who's going to win. But on this one, I genuinely don't know, and I'm genuinely interested who is going to win. I definitely think LeadeR's beatable, and I definitely think sCuBa's beatable. It's just how is the other player going to play? So sCuBa's gone for a normal build order. He's not gone for a no eco. One thing about living in Australia and having a slightly higher latency is probably your micro is probably always going to be slightly worse, but it is probably always going to be slightly worse for the other player as well, because you're both obviously playing at the same latency, same ping. But you're probably also less likely to do low economy builds and all-ins where high micro intensity is needed. When you go 2 full Vs in an ambulance, one misclick or hanging around in the same place for 1 second longer than you should can mean the end of the game for you. So far, it's a very, very cagey affair. We've got 3 ECMs and how many gets? 5 gets. Pushing forward now into sCuBa's domain on the map. But I think with that Firebase and that Crusader, it's okay defense, especially with the support of the Vs if they came in for a flank. Building on the right there's going to be occupied. That little checkpoint thing has got 1 MD inside of it. It's one of the weird buildings in Zero. You can only put 1 unit inside of it. But this push here from LeadeR into sCuBa's base is looking a little bit like a problem, because what you can do now is go up here and just camp it out. These Vs are going to get locked down by the ECMs. One goes down. Yep. I love Crusaders, man. Just the look of them and the sound in the game is so cool. 4 Gats now pressing forward for LeadeR. Looks like he's controlling the game, but as Tank probably should be trying to do here. But the problem is now, if those get picked off, which nice micro there from LeadeR, he has picked them off, and then he gets rid of that Firebase, then that leaves the floodgates open. Meanwhile, sCuBa's not able to collect here. All the gas did get cleared up, though, and this front has been held. Firebase got picked off. Crusaders disabled. And the onslaught continues. The China tank ECMs will always try to lock onto something, so you need to keep them moving with the alt path in as much as you can. LeadeR's expanded to a 3rd, but what I would like to see more on this map is actually expand to a 3rd and then expand to a 4th, so you mine this out faster. Because when there's these crates in a line like that, You can do it. Okay, we now got an Emperor out. He's realizing that gas ECMs isn't quite cutting it, so transferring or transitioning into an Emperor. I would probably like to see LeadeR getting his oil and refinery a little bit sooner, because currently, I mean, he's got 2 barracks out. Like, why the need for 2 barracks? Like that one and that one. There's no need for that left one. I don't think he's not produced anything from it. That Emperor is in danger. The strategy center only just being built. Lotus is finally now getting the oil. What you see a lot of top players do nowadays, they'll get the prop ASAP, get a barracks here, so your Lotus literally spawns and takes the oil straight away. You see this delay? So it's not flawless here from LeadeR. Every second delay, you're throwing away chances to win matches in your World Series #1. He's still in a good position, but he could be doing things a little bit better. These Emperors are really going to be a problem because what do they cost? Is it 1900 they cost or 1800? I can't remember now, but I suppose it's best part of 3k with the Gatling on it. But they really do wreck these Crusaders. He needs to get composite armor and needs to set search and destroy. sCuBa, not set search and destroy, is faltering a little bit. He's going to push out across the map, but I don't know if that's the right thing to do because you are basically throwing away your whole base. Because there's no way them Crusaders are going to hold, but if he's got any chance at all, he needs to set search and destroy. Yeah, I personally think sCuBa's going to struggle to push into this, but I think those Emperors are going to have a real easy time eating that base. Based on that, I think LeadeR's going to take game #1 here. Those Vs are now going back. So, yeah, not the greatest of decisions. He's trying to make LeadeR go left and then come in again. But the most you're going to be able to pick off here is those 2. And then you're going to have to go back eventually because this line of GATs and ECMs. I personally think sCuBa should have stayed and tried to fight that with a line of Crusaders in a perfect line. Like, he's even making Tomahawks now. In a perfect line, and then came in from the side with search and destroy Vs. And the Emperors would not know which one to target, whether to target the Crusaders or the Vs. Now he's going back after he's picked off 1 building. 1 Emperor there going down. I don't like the fact that these Emperors are just walking backwards. And I don't like these Crusaders. What the hell am I watching? Why didn't those Crusaders just stand over here and just shoot those? Why did he move 2 Crusaders to get crushed by the Emperor? What a wonky game this is. Next wave here from LeadeR. So they've both suffered losses. I think this is worse though for sCuBa, because sCuBa took out a 3rd supply, but sCuBa's not on his own 3rd supply anyway, so he's just even things up really. Yeah, sCuBa does have his oil and refinery. LeadeR does not have his refinery. You see, like, builds always start great and players look great and the build order's perfect, but then as soon as things start to heat up a bit, you do see mistakes. Like them Emperors moving backwards. This Lotus has just been sat here asleep for about 25 minutes. Third supply being rebuilt. Could have been built a few seconds sooner. sCuBa coming in now with 2 Vs from the left. Just 1 gap part there will stop him collecting. There's another Emperor. I personally think he should evac and just laser lock it. It's a free kill. But it's not doing that. Okay. Doesn't want a free kill. No problem. You could have easily evac there with probably the best part of 10 missile defenders. Okay, 8 missile defenders. You would have killed that easily and then would have been able to kill this area, but instead he's going back. Don't like that at all. Because imagine, if you kill that, you kill the war factory, kill that, then all of this stuff then needs to go back and defend it. Otherwise, you just keep pushing into the base and pick off the prop and other stuff. So, massive waste opportunity there for sCuBa. I do like the combo of Crusaders and MDs. sCuBa's level 4. He could have... has he just made 2 doses at once? He could have Pathfinders. I suppose it doesn't matter anymore. Tank Hunters are way back here. Ambulance being sent to its death. Crusaders. Doesn't look like he's got composite armor there. That upgrade down in the bottom left basically gives a load of HP to the Crusaders. Got a Vet 2 Crusader here as well. All the weak stuff here for tank is going down. The GATs, the ECMs have been picked off. But that Vet 2 Crusader been picked off now. And these Emperors and ECMs are actually still alive. And might be sCuBa dead unless he's got A10. A10 can reset that army. And by reset, I mean wipe it out. But there are more tanks coming across. These Emperors are very strong when they get the GATs and ECMs together and get inside of your base. But when they're still coming across the map like that and doesn't have the Gatling, then they're actually quite weak against these, because these can just unload, like I said before.
Search and destroy.
Lowest gets found, that's good. Search and destroy is set once again. Another firebase over on the left. So sCuBa knows he's probably going to lose all that right side of his base. I don't know what he's doing back here, because you could have picked off that gap. With search and destroy, you might be able to pick off these now because the ECMs are out of position. I'm sure... where are they going? I'm sure search and destroy Vs can outrange an Emperor without a GAT. Probably even with a GAT as well, but... I don't understand. That V there and that V could have picked off that Emperor. sCuBa can just hold and wait for the support powers, because the A10 will reset this. Leaflet bomb could reset it. Fuel air bomb could reset it. There's a bunch of things going for sCuBa, but I just wonder, has he wasted too many opportunities now? And he's still not collecting on that supply. Looks like he's collecting with 3 Chinooks on the left one. Yeah, and in his mind, he's already committed to losing half of his base, because he's dropped down that additional firebase. Yeah, LeadeR's in full control here. He's even collecting now on a 4th supply. sCuBa does have an oil advantage, but probably not for long, because there's an Emperor on the way. Colonel Burton could be one thing that sCuBa could be doing as well, is getting the Colonel Burton in the base. There's no mines whatsoever, so every building would be killable by Colonel Burton. Okay, V's enter the base. 10 minutes later. I mean... there's no chain gun upgrade there for LeadeR. He definitely should have chain guns. He's got like 8k float. Even if it means dropping down an additional war factory to rush it out. You'd probably do it. You'd also want to put your... you want to put your Emperors... Whoa! Whoa, GG. GG, baby. Almost legendary artillery strike. Yeah, you want to put your Emperors to the front, and then the ECMs by the side, and then the GATs probably just to the back a little bit. Here comes the A10, though. Doesn't kill a single tank, though. That's quite rare, actually, not to kill even a single tank, and it actually got quite a direct hit. But yeah, I'm pretty sure this is game now. I got an Albino V. Yeah, Crusaders. I'm not sure, like, I can never tell if he's got that upgrade or not. Maybe he has. Maybe it's just my screen. I don't know. Because everything's black and white and it gets colored in. If he has it. Maybe he does have it because that there looks a little bit colored in on my screen. My monitor does have some weird colors, to be fair. It might look different on yours. Wow, man, this is one of the longer tank and USA games. He's bringing his army of rangers in there as well, just to help out a little bit. sCuBa's actually nearly level 5. Moving in with a bunch of these, wants to pick off this supply. He's at risk of getting sandwiched, though. LeadeR's floating 10k. I don't think he should be floating 10k. You could even do with Napalm Mix. Napalm Mix would be able to take out basically any of this for free because there's no anti-air. All the Crusaders now just getting eaten alive. If he gets picked off, this is over. Yeah, sCuBa's lost way too much now. Leaflet? Yeah, leaflet. So the Overlord has just parked up for a second to read a leaflet, and sCuBa has been defeated. GG. Well played there to LeadeR 1-0. Okay, jumping into the reverse down in the south of Snowy Drought with the green China tank. This is sCuBa. Up in the north position, we have the pink player with the USA Vanilla, USA Standard. This is LeadeR. So yeah, it's a best of 9, as all of the round ones are. And means first to win 5 games. We're seeing the same build order from both players. I think they are both the most solid and safest. I think in a 0 or 10 latency game with absolutely no lag whatsoever, where speed is 100%, then you might see a no eco build, which will be a war factory and a barracks up the front. 2 full Vs, ambulance, push out straight across the map, close down a war factory, close down the power, just kill basically everything with some superb micro. But yeah, I don't know what the ping was like during these games, but not seeing that build anyway. Okay, GAT and an outpost out for the tank player. It's quite common nowadays. You'll see a GAT and an outpost come out of both of the war factories, go together, and then they will move out across the map. Or just like park there and wait for a potential no eco, which is a full V. Sorry, 2 full Vs. Dozer picked off. Weird that a Dozer's going there, quite honestly. From sCuBa. Very, very weird. Outpost is bust open, and the 2 tank hunters inside of there deciding to go back. I think that GAT should be put back to heal. Those are on the right hand side taking some damage. The reason he parks his Dozer there is so it's like a notification. It'll say unit under attack, and then you know there's a GAT coming. Got a decision to make as the US now. Do you want to try and get rid of that, or do you want to actually just push out straight across the map? He's choosing to push out, but there's a prop already on the way, which means ECMs will be unlocked. sCuBa seems aware there could be something coming from the right. He's got his GATs in a bit of a weird position, though. And the GAT has actually decided to go straight into the base. A Chinook has been picked off. The GAT on the left-hand side has been picked off. Ooh. A V gets disabled. Nice micro there from sCuBa. Kept one moving the whole time. And another V and an ambulance gets picked off. Very, very bad news there for LeadeR. Insanely bad news. And he just quits. Wow. Okay. Just quits like that. What does that say about the mental game? 1-1 now is the score. Okay, jumping into the next one. And I can already tell that LeadeR would have chosen the first map being Snowy Drought. And now we're on Tournament Desert. This is definitely a sCuBa map. He likes the older, traditional, the original maps. He's been playing Zero for a very long time. Tournament Desert Classic is his favorite map. He even has a poster of it on his wall in his bedroom. Down in the south, we've got the China Vanilla for the green player, which is sCuBa. And I was just checking the army of the top player before he sold his CC, but luckily it's on the tab key anyway. Here's the pink player. That is LeadeR. That is the super weapon. It's a bit similar to the previous one. But you have more expensive tanks and no veterancy for the China Vanilla, but you have cheaper infantry. You got cheaper MiGs, cheaper Helix. And the USA now has more expensive Vs, 850 each. Yeah, it's insane how long the first game was and then how quick the second game was. And tank won both times is interesting. Okay, that's very, very unusual there for LeadeR. I'm not 100% sure. Wow. Holy moly. Holy moly. What was I saying about oh, I've just updated the scoreboard wrong. What was I saying about mental games in the previous ones? This one just 100% backs things up. Why is he dropping a V like that? And why is he quitting after 2 minutes and 3 seconds, which is basically probably the shortest game in the World Series so far? Super Weapon is actually pretty good against China in the right hands. I don't know quite what LeadeR is doing. Okay, jumping into the next one. In the top, we have the Super Weapon for the green player. That is sCuBa. And then down in the south position with the China Vanilla for the pink player, this is LeadeR. Now, the big problem that people don't maybe necessarily realize, some people do, is if you quit like that so soon... I mean, let's assume maybe he disconnected, actually. He could have disconnected. We don't know that. Yeah, he could have disconnected, actually. But let's say he did just quit so suddenly like that. Because he did in the previous game, the tank one. So, if he did quit so soon, all you're doing is giving loads and loads of confidence to the other player. The other player now thinks he's mentally destroyed you. You don't want to be giving confidence to a player because that's just going to make it harder in the future games. Trust me on that one. So LeadeR's gone for 2 spies, War Factory Barracks, a nice and safe, solid build order. I got nothing against that. The only thing is that this is not a perfect supply. If you'd have done it here, it would have been a perfect supply. But this gets it out a little bit quicker. And if you get mines on here, then it does, if the Vs come in, it does delay them a little bit going in. Whereas if you do it here, the Vs have got a more safe entrance in. sCuBa has actually gone for 2 EMPs. He's going to upgrade that. And then he is going to grab an oil, put an MD inside of here and here. They're the 2 strong buildings. That's a weak one and that's a weak one. Typically don't want to go in that. But if you do go in there and a GAT gets like here, that church thing or whatever it is does block some missiles. So sometimes you might... Oh, actually, he is taking that one. Sometimes you might take that one just to fend off any GATs. Because you can have a little bit of bigger range because you're closer to the mid. But, I mean, whatever building he's in, he's now going to die. I would personally go inside of that one now. Because that's going to take longer to get killed. He's actually running away. Okay, first V is out. I like this build from sCuBa. It is probably something I would happily do here. against the China. I actually like it because you got 3 EMPs, you're getting your oil, and that funds your more expensive Vs. And then when you start pumping out the Vs, China Vanilla's in trouble. Yeah, if sCuBa can hold this initial push without maybe losing that EMP especially, I personally think he's on for a good victory because he's already got an oil. Goes isn't too far forward there with his V. Looks like this EMP will go down after all, actually. That EMP's shooting at an empty troop crawler. It should be shooting at something else, probably the tank hunters. Because the tank hunters can wreck the Vs. sCuBa's in a lot of trouble, actually. Maybe that EMP on the right wasn't needed, I don't know. Because that death blob can just wreck everything now. Oh, sCuBa has flashbangs, that's good. You want to specifically target the tank hunters because they are the issue here. The red guard can be V'd down all day. But the tank hunters, when they get in the death blob and they get the horde bonus, they are an issue. Yeah, I think LeadeR's got himself a nice little win there. I don't think there's much sCuBa can do about it now. Production's getting camped. Was he going to capture that? No. I don't know why he's not killing these buildings. MTVs. MTVs will just die to Gats. Never mind. Never mind if he makes tank hunters and stuff as well. Could get dozed. Maybe. Could get dozed and then maybe sCuBa will try and camp it out. That'll be a funky little victory if he gets it. Trucks are going down. Personally think he needs to try and go for that dozer because if you go left, they're going to die probably eventually anyway. But if you go right, at least you can try to camp it out. Actually, I don't know. Because it's still be on 2 supplies, War Factory Barracks. You can still make a load of troop crawlers. Just on an oil, you're probably not going to manage it, so... Okay, big man blob now, pushing into sCuBa's final base. Those has been picked off, and that is probably GG. I don't think anything sCuBa can do there can win in the game. Okay, artillery now coming in. Carpet bomb coming in. Yeah, that's GG. He's going to get kicked, actually. It gets kicked. GG, well played there to LeadeR. Quite a convincing victory, actually. 2-2. Okay, jumping into the next one. I just had to look on the forums, you know, because this tournament is just getting a little bit ridiculous. This map, NMC Summer Arena, is not even in the map pool. So how the hell are the players playing on this in the first place? How are they not reading the rules in such a high-profile tournament? And I think these games have already been concluded. Like one of them has already been put through to the next round. I haven't looked yet, or I've tried not to look, so I haven't spoiled it. But I'm pretty sure there's been no post about it, and one of them has gone through to the next round. This is the third time in the World Series that I've seen that happen. There's been 2 other sets we've casted so far where players played the wrong version. Like someone played Canyon of the Dead instead of Canyon Frost, which are a little bit different maps. One's snowy, one's green, one has different terrain and whatever. I think there was one where someone played Natural Threats instead of Imminent Victory. Maybe you guys can correct me on that, but there's definitely been 2 instances before. But this is not like any other map. This is just a completely... this is just not in the map pool. So how long or how controversial does it have to get before some action is taken? Like, are these games even going to be allowed? It should just be disallowed, and players should have to replay those missed games. And if round 2's already kicked off, then everything needs to be reversed, because the prize pool for the World Series is now up to $7,500. So it's quite like a professional, high-profile event now. This is like getting big. Like, imagine this was the World Series final and some controversy happened. That everything needs to be sticking by the rules. These games need to be disallowed. This is it just completely baffles me, honestly. But I don't know. For now, we'll just assume that this game sticks. We're gonna watch it, but I'm pretty sure this map ain't in the map pool. We've got a technical from LeadeR entering the base. This is stealth versus some kind of a China. It's nuke. Stealth versus nuke. LeadeR coming in with a technical on this disallowed map. Like I was gonna say, man, I've been trying to practice the World Series maps, and I've been like playing a few each day or whatever, and I just don't remember playing this one. I don't remember it being in the list, so I just thought I'd check it, and lo and behold, it's not. So sCuBa's gone for like quite a tournament desert-y build order, which is where you go for this forward supply and start pumping out some units from here, and then backfill later on, like sending units to the flanks to hold off. This flame is nice. It's looking pretty solid actually for sCuBa. Like, he's already on, what, 4 supplies against 2? And he's denying the map control here as well. And as soon as he starts pumping out loads of units from the War Factory, it's going to be very, very tricky for the stealth to hold. Okay, this technical, not quite sure what it's doing, but there is a tunnel going up here. Quads pop to try and stop it. The RPG's getting picked off there. Lotus is out now getting oil. So sCuBa's economy is getting pretty massive now. Loses an outpost and a flamer over on this right side, though. Battlemaster and a Gat coming back to defend this. He might walk on the mines here with the quads. Gat moves into the RPGs. The Battlemaster should clear up quads like relatively easy. Just need to use that Gat to micro it and hit the RPGs. Bunch of quads now attacking from the front. Again, need Battlemasters here. I think sCuBa could be producing units more. Like, why is there not even one unit here? It's a little bit weird. He's produced an Overlord, that's why. Just a bit weird to leave it wide open and leave at least like one unit there, a Battlemaster or something. Yeah, sCuBa's not even like trying to compete with this. He's just losing the whole front. Okay. You would have Subliminal Messaging by now if you'd have pressed it as soon as he finished it, and then you could have probably fought all out with one Overlord. But now he's at risk of even losing the prop. It's a bit of a wonky game, or gameplay again, in my view. Losing the barracks now as well. It's just giving him loads of free kills, basically, because that Overlord... Oh, maybe he knows about the hijacker, actually. Yeah, he could have known about the hijacker, actually. Okay, fair enough. Because if he got the Overlord hijacked, that could be very bad. Lotus hanging around, though, looking for the hijackers. Doesn't want to run into a tunnel, but she is. Is she going to die to the flamer? No, I don't know. No, there is a hijacker running straight through the middle of the map, though. Another prop being built. sCuBa's floating 10k, losing this oil. Yeah, GG. I mean, sCuBa's very good, and that was quite a walkover. But if you want to win the World Series, we have to be critical, and there's just too many weird things going on. Just losing the front of your base like that to just a few quads and RPGs when you have forward supplies and you were getting oils and stuff is just a bit weird, and you won't be able to do that against some of the top players and expect to win the World Series. It's just the harsh truth. Okay, jumping into the next one. We now got sCuBa up in the top with the green GLA Stealth. Again on this map that's not in the map pool. And then down in the south position with the red China nuke, this is LeadeR. Yeah, these games weren't even streamed, so probably no one's even checked these replays at all. So I think me and you watching this video now is the first anyone's going to hear about this. I just made a public post on the forum as well to say, is there going to be any action taken or anything? Or is it just going to be one of them? It's okay. Like that bug abuse that Staz did on Vendetta when he moved his dozer into a supply. Like, there was a discussion about that. If you haven't seen that, go and watch Staz versus Antrip. There was a discussion about that on the forums and whether it would be allowed months and months ago. And the verdict kind of was that it was going to be allowed, or there was no verdict. It was either allowed or no verdict. But then the host of the tournament has suddenly decided now that it's banned, and it wasn't a legal move, but he's going to get a slap on the wrist and don't do it again. Like, so, I also think that's unprofessional. It should have had a clear verdict back then when it was discussed, banned or not banned, and then it would have been clear, and Staz might not have done it. Does he even need a warning if it was previously allowed? It's just a little bit... could be done to a higher standard things in general, I think. I wonder if we're going to be watching sCuBa versus LeadeR, the rematch. In a few days or not. Okay, this truck is really causing problems. sCuBa's stealth, that supply on the right, is actually gone for a 3 supply build. Oh my god, that's painful. Like, just I was saying in the previous game, you can't be making mistakes like that in the World Series and still expect to win. Like, the TNT, everybody knows it causes splash damage. That truck exactly wanted to do that. It wanted to suicide itself in order to kill 6 workers. And that's exactly what happened. $1,200 hit on your economy, and also whilst the worker's not collecting, is massive. Whoa, that's big. Yeah, I don't mind going for 2 supplies and then sneaking that one out and stealthing that. But stealthing that one, I think it's a bit obvious there could still be workers collecting there. LeadeR's dominating, actually. He's just wrecking the economy, like... He might be able to get a super tech, and if he gets a super tech, that might change the game. It's still collected on 1 supply. There's a TNT here, but it's getting shot down by the Battle Masters. Technical still running around. It's a Vet 3, but it's only a grenade tech, not a super tech. But he's going to come in now and try to get super tech again. There are workers finally collecting back there. But even while you're dealing with this, the nuke is usually building up more tanks back at home, so the next wave will probably finish you. Because this is just a few tanks that are just keeping you so busy, you're losing quads here. But meanwhile, the next wave is already building up, and by that time, you haven't got a palace out because this has delayed you so much. He's going to lose a bunch more workers there again. There's too many losses on the workers, I'm afraid. Okay, he's got a super tech now. I wonder if that's going to enable him to win the game, because he's already took amazing economic damage, and the guy is already... Oh, he's only collecting on one truck. The guy's already on the prop and overlord, so even if that super tech comes across the map now, it's still going to die to either this Gatling or to an overlord. Need to be paying attention where that's going. That's your best unit. Okay. That was your best unit, and you just walked it into his base and didn't even look where it's going. Okay, 3-3 is the score. LeadeR evens things up. Okay, jumping into the next one, we've got China tank for the green player. That is sCuBa, down in the bottom right. Up in the top left, we have the cyan player with a China nuke. This is LeadeR. So, tank against nuke. Statistically, because someone posted the stats between all the top players, whenever they had China tank against China nuke, the nuke would win something like 78% of the time, or 80%. Don't quote me exactly on that, but it was a very, very high. It was like for every 5 games you play, 4 times out of those 5, the nuke should be winning. Because the tank doesn't have any really late game, it doesn't have nuke mix, it doesn't have long range, and it doesn't have fast overlords and ECMs like the nuke does. Yeah, sure, you've got emperors, but they're a lot more slow than the nuke. But yeah, nuke mix and long range are probably the 2 biggest imbalances. If he gets nuke mix and you're just going ground army, 2 nuke mix come in and your army just flies everywhere, flies into water and just dies, and that's if it doesn't die from the initial blast. But the one way to win is to go for a helix as the tank, which sCuBa is doing. If you can dozer hunt the nuke and then camp it out, you might be able to win. And saying that dozer is very, very exposed. And the one in the base is very, very exposed. In fact, down the middle, if the tank had made a war factory there, which you see some top players do, and send something straight down the middle, LeadeR would probably be dead just based on that. So he's kind of relying on there not being any kind of a push down the middle. It's going to be a helix. I mean, if he goes up and then to the base, nuke is hunted. Yeah, he's going up. Okay, he's going up. Flamer coming in from LeadeR. Interesting first unit, because pretty much anything the tank can make can stop it. So he knows sCuBa was going to go for an oil build, but the oil build for sCuBa was actually delayed because the red guard hasn't got there yet. He prioritized getting the helix out. So LeadeR was purely going to stop an oil cap. He was going to stop it with the dozer, and then he was going to come in with a flamer and stop this one and hopefully win the game based on that. So the build order's backfired a little bit here because he's lost the dozer and lost that flamer, although he did kill the oil, I get that. Helix going to repair. Sneaky war factory from sCuBa down in the bottom left, as you do. Okay, sCuBa trying to get some oils again. Red guards do go down. sCuBa has that top right oil. LeadeR has completely missed this area, but I suppose it was quite sneaky, to be fair. Is that the second? Oh, wait. What the he went for 3 dozers. Oh my god, of course he did. Yeah, of course he did. Because he had that one, and that one. Yeah, I can't count. That's totally oblivious. I see, he went 3 dozers. Yeah, so he wouldn't have been hunted. He would have to find all 3 dozers. Well, LeadeR's been completely wrecked on this left side, on the island, and that's probably the most important area on the map because you have these 2 supplies. Okay, 2 helixes now out. The problem for the nuke now is that you're scared of air units, and air units can go all the way around this map, all over the water and stuff like that, and it really limits where the nuke can go, because the helixes can just fly over everywhere, whereas the GATs can't, and you do need GATs based everywhere because those helixes can come in from any angle at any time. Okay, Lotus capturing the oil there for LeadeR. I would consider him behind at the minute, which is probably a bit disappointing for him because he is the nuke and he's got to fight an uphill battle now against the tank. 3 helixes now coming in as well. I think if they just go in now, they can pick off that for free. And they are just coming in. Needs to focus the GATs ASAP. And he does loses 1 licks though because he misfired, because he took his target off that before it had died. But still, he's in the base now. And is that him hunted now? Is that the 3rd? I think it is. So sCuBa just needs to camp it out now. He could have maybe suicided the licks, maybe dropped off all the tank hunters and moved in. Okay, Battlemaster's in the base getting picked off, but this army here is pretty much being stopped by sCuBa. And I think now he can trap this Overlord. The Overlord might be able to go back here. It looks currently like it's going to take the fight. I personally don't think it should take the fight, though. The Overlord works best when it's on the run. Up close and personal against the Battlemaster is going to get wrecked. And I think that's probably the final mistake that LeadeR can make in this game, and GG. He is down now for 3. sCuBa just needs 1 more. Okay, so jumping into the next one, we have China Nuke for the green player. That is sCuBa up in the top left of Sand Scorpion. Down in the bottom right, we have the Cyan player with a China tank. This is LeadeR. That's interesting from sCuBa. Most players will be going to supplies very, very quick. He's prioritized rushing out a war factory and then not made anything from the war factory, I think. Has he clicked something from that war factory genuinely? Oh, he has. Okay, he has. Okay. What is it, though? Okay, a Battlemaster. Like, supplies for China build so quick, and this map's so long. I think you can rush them out first, get your economy going, and then get the war factory. I think overall it leaves you in a better position. Don't think it's absolutely necessary to rush out a war factory that fast, but let's see. I suppose if the Cyan player LeadeR was going for that oil, could have been denied there by the Battlemaster. Flamer again from LeadeR as the first unit, straight to the middle, flaming down that war factory. LeadeR can't afford any more losses, otherwise he's out of the World Series. Flame for LeadeR going to get picked off. He could have started a flame wall there. Might have been able to kill that gap. War Factory now up for sCuBa. Second one that being. LeadeR's quick to expand this bottom left island once again. Tank hunters get cleared up. Prop already in play for sCuBa. Prop now being built for LeadeR. I personally think that you might need helixes here as the tank. Like, yes, they're expensive, but this is a hard matchup anyway. You got to take some risks. I like the idea of going helixes and then forcing the nuke to make anti-air, and then you make ground army. But if you're just sticking, I think he's going to go for ECM's Battlemaster, maybe something like that. Yeah, could be good. Could be good. But there's only one anti-air unit in here. So if you rocked up with a helix now, you probably would be able to own that army. If you start making a few ECMs now, I still think you're going to struggle against that. LeadeR does need to come in with all of his units at once if he's to face that. So these and these need to all push forward at the same time. Those are getting picked off here of LeadeR. There's a Battlemaster entering LeadeR's base, so that could pick off the last dozer. Okay, Lotus for LeadeR disables the Overlord there of sCuBa. Mines deployed. Plenty of Battlemasters here for LeadeR. LeadeR's trucks are getting wiped out. There's no defense here at all in the base. ECM now out. sCuBa's very scared of a helix. You see how many gats he's got. He's building a Gatling defense, but you're primarily against Battlemasters. And I don't even think that would stop a Lotus coming in. I think a Lotus could go that way. Okay, nice pick off there for LeadeR. It's looking kind of okay for him, but did he get hunted? No, he's still got a dozer. He's building a barracks now to get his oil. Lots of Overlords now surrounding these Battlemasters, and this is just loads and loads of XP for sCuBa, of which he does have a CC already. I think this is a big key battle that LeadeR needed to win. And personally, after losing that now, if sCuBa just makes sure he doesn't get killed from anti-air, I think the tank can no longer win. I think at that point, LeadeR needed to come in with a helix. He needed to pick off the anti-air and then come in with helixes and wipe it out. And LeadeR has just quit after that. GG, well played there.
Victorious.
sCuBa goes through to round number 2, or does he? Will the map Summit Arena result be overturned, and will we be back here watching the replay of those games? There are some round ones, you know, that I've decided I probably am not going to commentate on, just because, to be honest, I'll just be completely honest with you, that King Toxic versus Cold Check. those games really drained me a little bit and took it out of me a little bit. Nothing against the players, but sometimes I sit here recording for loads and loads of hours when actually I could be training for round number 2 or casting some of the bigger games in round number 2 and stuff like that. So I've made the decision, just some of the games in round number 1, I'm just not going to commentate. But any expert level games or any pro level games where there's at least one top player involved, like sCuBa here, for example, and LeadeR, I thought this was an interesting one. Yeah, just maybe a few that I won't commentate on in round number 1. GG, well played. Let me know what you thought in the comments, and I'll see you in the next one.